Bueno, pues empezamos ya, si acaso. Buenas tardes a todo el mundo, bienvenidos a este webinar. Deseamos que se encuentren todos bien. Muchas gracias por asistir. Esta es nuestra tercera sesión de esta andadura que iniciamos en Comac hace un mes aproximadamente y donde pretendemos siempre plantear temas de interés para la industria cosmética, farmacéutica y afines. Me presento, mi nombre es Gerard Carrasco, soy director de la empresa Comac Casol, que conjuntamente con Tapematic son las empresas organizadoras de esta sesión de hoy. El título del evento es La evolución de los mercados de consumo, donde el señor Antonio Scotti nos va a hablar de la evolución de dichos mercados en un contexto actual de restricciones a la movilidad, tanto de personas como mercancías, y que han afectado sin duda los hábitos de consumo y de producción pues, de los dos actores principales del escenario económico, como son los consumidores y las empresas. Antonio intentará arrojar un poco de luz sobre las expectativas de futuro, haciendo hincapié en la necesidad de adaptación tecnológica rápida para responder de forma eficaz a las nuevas demandas del mercado. También a la importancia de la sensibilización de los valores ecológicos y de salud. Finalmente, Antonio usará el ejemplo de Tapematic como muestra de adaptación de estas demandas emergentes del mercado. Les informo que vamos a mantener los micros y cámaras cerrados de la sesión. Sin embargo, en cualquier momento durante el evento pueden transmitir sus preguntas a través del chat que va a permanecer siempre abierto. Y antes de entrar en el contenido, les expongo un breve resumen del programa de hoy. Por un lado, realizaremos una breve introducción de las empresas organizadoras, en este caso Comac y Tapematic, como les decía. Acto seguido presentaremos al señor Antonio Scotti, nuestro speaker para hoy. Posteriormente, Antonio realizará la presentación, que calculamos va a estar alrededor de unos 30 a 35 minutos. Y finalmente abriremos el turno para responder las preguntas que vayan surgiendo en el chat. Calculamos eso, unos 10 minutos aproximadamente. No obstante, si hubiera preguntas que quedaran por responder por falta de tiempo, no se preocupen que mandaremos las respuestas en sus emails de registro. Les informo también que la presentación se va a realizar en inglés. Bien, pues siguiendo un poco con el guión, pasamos a presentar las empresas organizadoras. Por un lado tenemos a Comac Casol, que es una empresa fundada en el año 2005 como proveedora de soluciones industriales para los sectores farma, dietético, veterinario y cosmético. Las áreas que abarca son, por un lado, proceso para sólidos, incluyendo granulación, compresión, recubrimiento, cápsulas y liofilizados. Envasado, tanto de sólidos como de líquidos, y estos últimos tanto en ambiente estéril como no estéril. Packaging, tanto primario como secundario, donde incluimos líneas blister, formatos blisters, contenedores, llenadoras de contenedores de plástico o de cristal y envasado secundario como es el estuchado. Finalmente tenemos una gran división de controles de equipos de control de calidad para la inspección de comprimidos, cápsulas viales inyectables. Y finalmente tenemos una sección que llamamos procesos auxiliares, donde incluimos la limpieza y secado de piezas de formato, materiales de laboratorio, depósitos y bines, impresiones de los materiales de packaging, como son el aluminio, estuches y etiquetas, y las líneas completas de metalización y decoración de envases, donde incluimos y está situada Tapematic. Bien, paso ahora a presentar Tapematic. Tapematic es una empresa italiana fundada en el año 1970, situada en Ornago, Monza, en la región de Lombardía. Desde siempre se han dedicado al diseño y fabricación de soluciones industriales de alta calidad en distintos mercados. En la última década, la empresa se ha especializado en la producción de líneas UV para el pretratamiento, barnizado y metalizado de piezas de packaging. A tal efecto, dispone de dos líneas básicas de producción, la PST Line 1, lanzada en el año 2010, la PST Line 2, lanzada en el año 2018, y recientemente un nuevo módulo de decoración de piezas, el IDM2, lanzado en enero de este año, 2021. Sus mercados potenciales son el cosmético, las bebidas alcohólicas, farmacia y automoción. Y a fecha de hoy cuenta con una base instalada de 50 PSTs en todo el mundo. Pues bien, llegados a este punto, Si les parece, paso a presentar a nuestro speaker de hoy, el señor Antonio. Me consta que muchos de los asistentes de hoy conocen bien a Antonio, pero les voy a hacer algunas pinceladas de su dilatada carrera profesional. Antonio estuvo en Tapematic del año 88 hasta el 99, donde estuvo a cargo de la coordinación global de la asistencia técnica en el sector audiovisual. Posteriormente, del 2009 hasta el 2012, fue director general en Biomediface, de prótesis dentales en Suiza. Desde el 2013 hasta el 2015, director de la división de prótesis dentales en Kulzer, en Milán. Y desde el año 2016 es vicepresidente de ventas globales de líneas de metalización y decoración en Tapematic. Pues sin más, les dejo ya en muy buenas manos. Espero que el tema de hoy les guste, les aporte valor sobre todo. Y por mi parte volveré al final de la presentación de Antonio para moderar el turno de preguntas y respuestas y para la despedida final. Así que muchas gracias y hasta dentro de un rato. Antonio, te paso el relevo.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Gerard.
Yes.
Let me try to
Pleasure.
share my screen.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
Pardon.
You just tell me if it's working and if everybody can see. It's going to take a second. Okay. Can you see it?
Not yet.
It's getting slow then. Because just tell me when you see the screen. Because wait a second.
You should be able to share now the document because you are co-host.
Actually, oh, it was my mistake. Sorry.
That's all right. Okay, now it seems that it's going to work. Yes. It's not full screen yet, Antonio?
It's coming, it's coming.
Ah, okay.
It's because the technology takes time.
Okay, fine, perfect.
Now you can see everything.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much to everybody to be here today. And thank you, Gerard, for the presentation.
My pleasure.
And today I would like to have a little bit of view of what the market is presenting to us today, which is something completely new. And that's the reason why I prepared this presentation divided in 2 parts. The first part is actually a little bit of an overview of what is happening or what is being happened since more or less 15 months. How our life is being modified together with the attitude and the way of living and working. And then in the second part, I would like to introduce some of the innovative solutions that Tapematic is offering to this challenging and changing market. So I will start to give you a little bit an overview of what we're going to see, the slides we're going to see in this first part. We're going to have the old habits versus the new habits. The changing and the challenging markets. A new consumer experience. Worldwide delivery. Business strategies. And customer adaptation. So these are a few key points that are part of our recent life, because in my opinion, in the last year, our life is being modified and is going to remain modified for a long time. I don't know if it's going to be the same forever, but for sure, for a long time, it's going to be like today. And that's the reason why we have the global impact of a unique and challenging period. Probably nobody of us, even if I'm not new, because I'm getting old, recently old, but you know, this is something that we never faced before. We had a story about our parents from the war and how life was. Well, I think we are experiencing this time something which is unique. So I divided in old habits. And when I'm talking about old habits, I'm not talking something that was valid 20, 30 years ago. No, 15 months ago. Versus the new habits, what we have today. Because the global restriction and global mobility restriction have a big impact on all of us, on the economy, on business, on consumer, on work, on everything. From the consumer side and the business side. Well, on the consumer, people had to change the way they live, the way to work, and importantly, to shop as well. You know, most of us, or people that I know, smart working was a word, but it was not something very present in our life. Recently, smart working seems to be the normal way for many people to work. And because this big change, our daily priority list is being modified. So we had new things in our daily priorities because life is being modified. And of course, there is a great new demand on healthcare. And because that, more attention to sustainability, because people now are looking more on all this type of aspect. How the business is changing. Well, there are many new challenges to face because there is a new demand, there is new consumer market. So even the industry has to adapt to this new situation. Therefore, it's important to set up new industrial strategies. Very important, the market has to be more agile. So we have to develop a way to be more agile, more reactive to the market. Because the time to market is very important, so we have to be definitely faster. And we have to develop new sustainable products and process as well. As I said before, many of these behavior trends are going to remain for a long time in the future. Maybe forever, maybe for a decade, we don't know, but definitely it's going to remain for a long time. Well, the market today is changing and it's challenging, but is also giving a chance. So there is a big organizational change that has to be put in place. And it's a huge challenge because we don't know, it's something new. We have to start from the beginning. We don't have an historical background, so we have to start now. Even if the market in the past the trend was going into this direction, but the acceleration that we got in the last 15 months has been very, very strong and important. That's the reason why, if you take the challenge, we're going to have new chance, opportunities. Where the consumer market goes, or where from to. We have a traditional shop experience, and we have a digital shop experience. And seems to be quite normal, quite the same, but actually to move from this traditional shop experience, which is the one that we've been used to, you know, and many people, everybody was doing this type of shopping. Recently, this is a new shopping way. The click and collect is the new way to do shopping, and it's digital. And everybody's talking about this digital shop, which is absolutely perfect. But we still have an analog delivery, because our goods they need to be delivered to us, and they need to be delivered in, I call it the analog way, because there is no click. There is a physical box that we arrive to our place. With the traditional shop experience, every shop was a small micro deposit, had a small stock. Right now, the stock is not there anymore. So parts have to fly all over the place, and people are buying all over the world. They're not just buying at the shop near the place where they live. No, now they can buy things all over the world. And of course, the products, the migration of the products cannot be any longer from one single source. So there are new business challenges. We need to change to have a chance. If we don't change, most probably we will not have the chance. So how to change? In our opinion, the way to change is, one way to change is the internalization of the process. We have to deliver operational agility. We need to get a greater control of supply chain. Time to market is getting very important, because this big modification that the market is doing now is demanding and is pretending a much better service. We have to improve the sustainability, because this is a big thing, and it's a big demand, because we need to take care of the planet. Because right now, during this pandemic situation, I don't like the word pandemic, but in the pandemic situation, pandemic period, people realize that we need to take care of the planet. We have to take care of more about what we have around us, simply because our life is being slowed down for 15 months, so we have the opportunity to see what is surrounding us. Well, we have also to deliver a better performance in every way. I like this picture because this is the picture of the market, the consumer. The consumer are very fast to adapt to the market. But this adaptation has to be done also by the industry, because the industry has to adapt to this situation as fast as possible, because the market is demanding, is pretending as quick as possible. Well, at this point, I would like to talk about what Tapematic can do for this changing market. So again, a little bit of an overview of what we're going to see in the next slides. We're going to see the PSD system, PSD line system, the Tapematic IDM. The scope of the project is how Tapematic decide to enter in this business, and what was the base to develop new solutions. Then I'm going to show you the modular concept. What is the modular concept for us? Everything in-house. This is the bit of internalization of the product or the process. Green mean, I will use it as one word, useless. And in reality is use less. what is PSD line? The PSD line has been absolutely a new concept in the packaging manufacturing world, because it's a revolution. It's a completely different system from what people used to have. It's environmental friendly, it's cost effective, is full automated, and is a inline UV varnish metallization process, loading and offloading, is a complete line to handle the entire process for the industry that are beverages, cosmetics in this case, automotive, pharmaceutical. As Gerard said before, in 2010, we introduced the first PSD line. And then we made a lot of modification, many installations around the world, many different requests from every customer. So in 2018, we present the PSD line 2. Basically, the concept is very similar or more or less the same. The production capacity of the two line is slightly different because PSD2 line is bigger in size of parts and is also faster into the process. The one important thing is that the line is being developed and assembled and produced entirely in Tapematic. And during the restriction period, we launched the IDM2. The IDM2 is a line and is a module. It's a line that can do the pre-treatment, decoration, and varnish the object. It's also a module that can be fully integrated in existing PSD2 line to provide the inline decoration of parts. What it does, the IDM is a system, a stamping system to decorate parts on the top, on the side, but in the same module, we can also apply a serialization feature. So we can serialize every single part and get every single part different and unique. And this serialization is done on the fly, so during the production. It looks very similar to all the other modules because actually it could be one module of the PSD2 line. And what it does, you can decorate parts like this. Well, somebody can say, yeah, it's an adult stamping. Well, it's not, because this line is doing this decoration in line. You can apply the varnish immediately afterwards without any manipulation, so there is no contamination whatsoever. But also, I don't know if you see the indication here, in this area, you can reserve an area where you can add this serialization, you can add a logo, personalized logo, or a QR code to get these 6 items, actually 7 items, completely different and unique. So everyone can have a single number for identification. How we come up with this idea? The idea starts, and remember that this idea started 10 years ago, not now because of the pandemic. So the PSD line concept is being developed 12 years ago, 10 years ago was presented in the market. So the idea, one of the steps was how to eliminate all the manual steps. We know that on the market, lines require a lot of manipulation because all the parts are separate. So you have one part of decoration, one part of metallization. So we said we need to get this line fully automated, so there is no intermediate manual steps. More sustainable and cost-effective. How to do that? We study a system to use less, to be more green, not because we can change the material, because the market decides which material, which decoration. As a machine manufacturer, we try to use the most sustainable material and to use less material as possible to achieve the same quality. Later on, we're going to see how. Another important thing, when we start the PST line, we start in the beverages. So we made several lines for beverages where the production was very, let me pass the term, simple, because very high production, one size, one type of product, many different colors, many different things, but the same cup or the same closure. Moving into cosmetics, the demand was completely different because the needs are completely different, because we have different containers, we have different shape, we have different materials. So for us, it was very important to allow every customer to combine and to set up the line according to their production. I used to call our line like a Lego, so everybody can combine the pieces. Well, it's a bit expensive as a Lego, so I cannot get it for Christmas. But yes, we can think about like a Lego system. So, and the modular system is helping us to create this, to shape the line according to customer needs. Reducing the number or eliminate the intermediate step give us also a better control of the entire process to reduce the possibility of contamination. Reducing the possibility of contamination means reducing the amount of waste, and reducing the amount of waste is another way to be more sustainable. Another important point, because the dimension of the line, because the characteristic of the line, because the way that the line need to be handled by operators, and because the flow space, the PST line is giving the opportunity to bring the sputtering and coating technology in-house. For many years, this type of service was done outside, was outsourced. And the plastic producer, they had to outsource this service and get the material back. So this movement of material back and forward it was creating sometimes some inconvenience in terms of time to market, in terms of cost, in terms of control of the process. So bringing a technology in-house is shrinking the supply chain. That's the reason why bringing technology in-house allows the customer to be more agile and reduce the time to market. The modular concept. Every piece of the PST line is a separate single module. So every module is fully independent. So, and can be chosen by the customer according to their needs. So we have the loading and offloading. That could be a manual system. It can be a semi-automatic, so we can have the loading automatic, the offloading manual, vice versa, or we can have a full automatic loading and offloading and still have a small area where the customer can do the trials. So they have the possibility to load and unload by hand. Then there's a module for cleaning and pre-treatment. And the pre-treatment can be done according to the customer. We can use flame, we can use whatever the customer requests. We have the cleaning with brush, with feathers. We have the deionize. We have all the system to get our parts clean without dust and impurity before starting the real process. We have a base coating module. We can also have, between the cleaning and the base coating, the primer module. And this is purely the decision of our customer. After the base coating, we have the sputtering module, which is an inline sputtering, so the vacuum remains at the full time in the chamber. So parts are always, the sputtering is always under vacuum, so there is no contamination. The only time we're exposing our metallizer unit, our sputtering unit, into the atmosphere is when you have to change the target or the mask. With the sputtering technology, we can use different materials. We can use basically any metal we want. And once the parts are sputtered, there is a top coating module. The top coating module is to give the protection varnish, but also can give any color we want. A very important thing is that on the PST line, we are only using UV varnish. We never consider any other varnish from the beginning, simply because it's helping a lot to be more clean and to reduce the emissions, because also there is a trend of reducing as much as possible the amount of solvent. Every customer can customize the line, as I said, in all different ways. And we can also integrate other manufactured modules in case is needed. And we have a very good example in Spain as well. The concept is to make one-stop shop. We are doing basically everything in-house, not because we want to be extremely good or because we want to save our idea, our know-how. Is also because we want to supply service to our customer. So if we have the full control of the entire process, the customer can pick up the phone and call us, and we are in the position to give answer to all the entire process. And we don't have to delegate answer to somebody else, because we want to be efficient and fast. And thanks to the technology, today we can support our customer not just over the phone, but we can remotely access the line and work together with the customer to give support in case there is any question or any issue. We do the design 100% in-house since the very beginning, since when we start in the 70s, making the audio and video loaders. And at that time, we developed the concept of the modularity concept, let's say. We have our own machinery shop where we produce all the mechanical parts for our line. This is a great help in case we have to follow the desire or the needs of our customers. So we can modify, we can provide all the solution in the fastest possible way. All the assembling is done in-house. we've been trying always to give the full and the best automation to the system. So less manipulation, less human contact to the parts are giving, in our opinion, a much better control of the entire process. Software is done in-house as well, and our software engineers are available to do any, even inline modification directly on with a remote access. Green mean use less. Doesn't mean that the be green is useless, absolutely not. But because we are a machine manufacturer, we don't use product in the process. We are not using varnish, we are not manufacturing varnish. We have no control on the product itself. We don't have control on the plastic because we are handling the plastic or the glass of the metal that the customer is providing to the line. But what we can do is to optimize as much as we can the process. So this is, we say that it's very eco-friendly, and it's true, because the floor space is very, for the PSD line, is very limited. It's very limited, so we don't need a big area to work. One PSD line, the consumption is more or less around, just to make it rounded, 50 kilowatts. Compared to the traditional line, is much, much, much lower. Because the process is inline and we are now working on batch, we can check every single part during each step of the process. So the waste, the generated waste, is very limited. Another very important key point is the usage of the UV varnish. But not only that. In the industry, generally, the overspray is one of the big wastes on the production line. Reducing drastically the the varnish consumption is bringing a big benefit, because we use a system where we drop the overspray drastically. Reducing the overspray means to reduce the filtering, means to reduce all the circuit that has to clean all this waste. And also is giving us a little bit of extra money, because all the varnish that is being rejected cannot be reused anymore. And the UV varnish has a cost which is much higher than the traditional varnish. So for all this reason, having the full control of the line, the process, by one operator is very important, because we don't need to have a lot of people running around the process. We can use the people to do other things while the machine is doing the job. Another important thing is that we experience that not every day customers are using the full line, because there are days that the metallization is not required, but they still need to varnish. So there are days where the base coating and the top coating are needed, but other days that maybe just one cabin is needed. So every module can be enabled and disabled in order to reduce the power consumption and to get the maximum flexibility for the production. Well, I hope I was on time. My presentation is finished here, and I want to thank you everybody for the time. You know, I cannot see every single face. Maybe somebody of you got bored and fell to sleep, but you know, I try my best. Thank you.
Gracias, Antonio. Thank you. No, I'm sure it was very interesting, and nobody is sleeping. We have a question here in the chat, Antonio. Jaume is asking. Let me see. I can see it well. Can the IDM module be integrated in a PSCT line? And if so, what is the advantage?
Wait a second. I'm still sharing the. Oh yeah. Okay. Now. Well, yes, it can be headed on the PST line, and it can be had even afterwards. So, you know, because the module, customer got the PST line 2 and not the PST1, PST line 1, but PST2. Yes, the module can be integrated. The advantage is very simple. You know, you have parts that are already in the process. You can decorate the parts, and you can apply the top coating varnish directly on the parts without any extra manipulation. So the parts don't need to be moved somewhere else to be decorated in another machine, like other stamp machine, and then put it back on the line to have an overcoating. The overcoating is giving a better looking, and is also giving a hardness. So there is new trend that is being demand that we are having today, where people are asking to give a varnish on top of the decoration.
Okay. Another question coming. Tapematic is manufacturing the sputtering unit. Is also manufacturing the varnish cabins as well?
Well, yes, and that is it was one of the big challenge for us, because the sputtering unit we've been manufacturing since 97, 98, because the CD and the DVDs business. But the varnish, even if we've been using on the CD and DVD the varnish called lacquer, but you know, was a different application and different things. When we start the PST line, we decide to take the challenging to get the varnish as well in the line, and to manufacture ourselves the varnish cabin in order to supply the complete line and be responsible for the entire line.
Okay, good. In this sense, I have a question. Myself, Antonio. You said that the IDM module can be integrated, but we have recently supplied a sputtering module. The rest of modules can be retrofitted in this particular case. I mean, if, for instance, the customer is acquiring only one sputtering unit and then they want to retrofit this unit with the rest of the modules, it can be done.
It's no problem at all, because, as I said, the modules are, let's say, fully independent and can be integrated. So if the customer decide to integrate the module, or to buy the rest of the line without the sputtering, we can simply plug in the existing sputtering unit, and the line is completed.
So there is no need of a pre-arrangement. It's already the modules are already prepared for this retrofit.
Yeah, absolutely. The modules, you know, because we're using the module, and the module is fully independent and is running independently with their own program. Mm-hmm. The only connection between the modules is the conveyor, is transportation. So we have these pallets that are going around with parts, and this is the only common parts between the modules. Apart, of course, some of software communication and some signal, but basically every module is independent. That's the reason why if we decide not to use one module, for example, the sputtering, we simply disable and bypass.
Okay, very good. Very good, Antonio. Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think there aren't more questions coming, so I think we can finish. I'm gonna switch to Spanish if you don't mind, Antonio.
No, no problem. I'm very sorry. You know, I could try to use my little Spanish as well, but probably the presentation will last 5 days and nobody will understand.
Bueno, yo certifico que Antonio habla muy bien castellano, o sea que la próxima presentación la haces en castellano, Antonio. ¿Qué te parece?
Intentamos.
Bueno, intentamos, bien. Bueno, pues finalizamos ya este webinar. Les agradecemos una vez más a todos que hayan reservado su tiempo para estar presentes en el evento de hoy. Les invitamos a que participen en nuestras futuras convocatorias que tenemos planificadas y que pueden consultar en nuestra web www.comac-casol.com, en la pestaña de recursos, en la sección de webinars. También iremos colgando información puntualmente en nuestro link de LinkedIn. Y si quieren continuar haciendo preguntas o mandarnos sugerencias que nos permitan mejorar, pueden hacerlo en este email, el info@comac-casol.com, donde les estaremos muy agradecidos de que nos manden sus sugerencias. Pues nada más que añadir. Que tengan una muy buena jornada y hasta pronto. Gracias, Antonio.
Thank you very much to everybody. Bye-bye. Ciao, Gerardo.
Chao, chao, chao.